Hi, I'm Bethany Wallace, Content Manager for College Recruiter. At College Recruiter, we believe that every student and grad deserves a great career. We create a quality candidate and recruiter experience. Our interactive media solutions connect students and grads to great careers. I'm here today with Stephen Rothberg, President and Founder of College Recruiter. Welcome, Stephen.
Thanks, Bethany.
We're going to talk today about Stephen's selection as a presenter at the National Association of Colleges and Employers Conference in June. And Stephen, congratulations on being selected as a presenter.
Thanks. Done it a few times, and it's a great event.
And this year, your presentation is about how to benchmark your university relations program in the absence of benchmarks. Why is this an issue for college recruiting programs, and what are some potential solutions?
Sure, it's an issue because until very recently, very few university relations or college relations programs had any real benchmarks. Very few employers knew whether their program was operating efficiently and effectively. And some of that information is now starting to come out. More and more organizations are starting to share things like what their cost per hire is. They're defining it differently, though. Some organizations will say, the hires, that's pretty easy. How many people did we hire? But even there's a little bit of discrepancy, and I'll get to that in a second. But on the cost side, there's not a really good definition out there. SHRM, the Society for Human Resource Management, recently published a definition of what cost per hire is. That definition does not seem to be used by most of the university relations departments in employers, large or small. When we talk cost per hire at College Recruiter, when we're talking with our employer clients, we encourage them to include everything, which would include travel, hotels, meals, time out of the office, so the staff time. If you've got a recruiter who's on the road for 2 months and she's making, say, $5,000 a month plus taxes plus benefits, that's costing you probably $7,500 to $8,000 just in staff costs. So if she's on the road for 2 months, that's 16 grand, and you really need to factor that in. Then add in the airfare for her to go to 10 or 20 campuses, hotels, meals, other reimbursements, etc. And most of the cost from a college recruiting program, you'll see quickly, is tied to the actual staff time. A lot of organizations, when they're looking at the cost side of college recruiting, they're only looking at the cost when they write a check to the College Career Service Office to participate in a job fair or do on-campus recruiting or something like that. Those fees tend to be fairly minimal, a couple $100 maybe to just use a career service office for the day. I have an on-campus interview, and it varies school to school. Some don't charge at all, some charge a lot, but it's not that expensive. So if you hire 5 students from a campus and your total cost, job fair, interviewing on campus, whatever, is say $500, well, your cost per hire looks like $100. But if it took your recruiter a day of travel to get there, a day of travel to get back, a couple of days of interviews afterward, hotels, meals, whatever, you can see how that $100 per hire quickly becomes maybe $1,000 or even $2,000 once you started to include it. We have clients that will even use different definitions of hires. I was talking with a client a couple days ago, and they hire, I think she said, 3,000 entry-level employees a year, of which she was able to track back, I think it was 800 to their university relations department. So there are like 2,200 that are kind of out there in this never land. Did they come in directly through the career website, not part of the college recruiting program? She knows that some of those 2,200 people, anecdotally she knows it, some of them actually were influenced by her college recruiting program because they were at information events that her team hosted at those college campuses. Then the student went over to the employer's website, applied online, and was hired. So are those people a hire as far as a college relations program goes or not? I would say yes, I think, and part of why she's talking with us is that we can help her with metrics, with data, to tie those people back to her college relations program so that when she goes to her boss, VP of Talent Acquisition, and asks for an increase in budget, she can demonstrate, hey, not only did we hire 800 people, actually it was more like 1,500 people, and therefore our cost per hire was roughly half of what it seems to be. So at the NACE conference, the National Association of Colleges and Employers in June, the people who attend that conference overwhelmingly are employers from large organizations that hire dozens, hundreds, or thousands of college students, and the career service offices that serve them. My presentation is going to be really geared around benchmarking. So if you've got a cost per hire, for example, of say $1,000, how does that compare to other organizations that are similar to yours that are hiring similar types of people? And how do you get that data? Once you have that data, so you've got the data, your cost per hire is $1,000. Let's say you see the average cost is $3,600, which is what NACE reports. The average cost of hiring a student through on-campus recruiting is $3,600. So, hey, at a surface, now you've done a little bit of analysis, your cost per hire is less than a third of the average. Make sure that your definition of cost is the same as NACE's. Make sure that your definition of hire is the same as NACE's. And if so, you've got a pretty good benchmark. You want to go a step beyond that, though. NACE is including all types of students hired from all kinds of organizations for all kinds of positions. If you're a Big Four accounting firm, it's not all that relevant to you what a fast food restaurant chain hires assistant managers for. It's somewhat relevant. It's not great. You'd be much more interested in what the cost per hire for your direct competitors, the other Big Four, are paying. And some of these organizations are starting to share that information with each other. And so that's really what the presentation is going to be driving at, is to try to help employers to be even more collegial and cooperative with each other. I'm actually astounded at how gracious and giving the vast majority of employers in this space are. They will get together with their direct competitors and share that information over a cup of coffee or hopefully for them, a glass of wine at one of the evening receptions.
Thanks, Stephen. For more information about Stephen's presentation at the NACE conference and for a link to NACE, you can visit our blog at collegerecruiter.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube.